I'm Matt Rosendale, the Republican candidate for Montana's lone seat in the United States Congress. I've had the distinct privilege of working with my good friend and Montana Senator Steve Daines to protect our public lands, defend our Second Amendment, and champion President Trump's America First agenda. And I can't wait to work beside him if I'm fortunate enough to be elected as Montana's next congressman. We can't afford to lose Steve in the Senate, and we certainly cannot afford to have Chuck Schumer's puppet, Steve Bullock, or Nancy Pelosi's radical activist, Kathleen Williams, representing Montana in Washington. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to my good friend, U.S. Senator Steve Daines.
Hey, Matt Rosendale, that's great. Thank you. And I can tell you something. The president and I need Matt Rosendale in Congress, and the people of Montana need Matt Rosendale in Congress. Let me tell you where things are at. This race is tied. We're being outspent by millions. Schumer and the liberal mob and Jane Fonda, they're pouring money into Montana. You're seeing it on the airwaves. We've got to fight back. You can go to helpdaines.com. It's helpdaines. It's just one word, helpdaines.com. We need your help now to keep our TV ads on the air, radio ads going. Thank you for your support there. Let me just tell you a couple quick issues here. Bullock's a disaster on the Second Amendment. The president's going to talk more about that. I want to secure our borders. Bullock supports sanctuary cities. And here's one that everybody needs to know. I support Amy Coney Barrett. I can't wait to go back to D.C. and vote for her. Steve Bullock opposes her, this amazing new Supreme Court justice soon to be confirmed by the United States Senate. And furthermore, Bullock supports court packing. That's a disaster. That's right out of Schumer's playbook. So that's why we got to make sure we win this race to save our country. And with that, I am so proud to stand here today with President Trump because he is proud to stand with Montana. It's been the honor of my life to serve the people of Montana with President Trump. We need 4 more years of President Trump. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our very great president, President Donald J. Trump. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, thank you very much, Stephen. I'll tell you, I just wanted to call on behalf of Steve and Matt. I'm a magnet for Montana. They like me and I like them because I'm up like 24 points I see in a chart here. So I'm not even talking about myself. I'm talking about these 2 incredible guys, and they should have no trouble. I can tell you Bullock was a disaster. He ran for president. He really literally made a fool out of himself. But he's totally against your Second Amendment. He's going to vote with them. And by the way, whether or not he is, he totally votes with Pelosi and with Schumer. So he's going to vote, even if he loved it, which he doesn't. He's going to vote with them. You're not going to end up with the Second Amendment. You can't, which is guns. You can't have that happen. So I had a chance to do a twofer. That's Steve and Matt together, and I said, let me do that. And if later on I have to go out there, I'll go out there. I don't think there should be any reason for it, though, because they are 2 incredible people. This is the most important election in the history of our country. So get out and vote for Steve Daines and Matt Rosendale. Many of you have received your ballots by mail, and you need to complete your ballot and return it today. You can mail it in or drop it off in person at your local county election office. You know all that stuff. Your ballot must be received by election night. And these are 2 incredible people, 2 friends of mine and warriors. Steve and Matt are champions for the America First agenda in Washington. They'll vote to support our police, safeguard our Social Security, uphold the Second Amendment, which is under siege, by the way, from people like Bullock and others, strengthen our military, secure our borders, rebuild our economy, and we will all hold China accountable for their lies and deception. That you can believe. Steve Daines and Matt Rosendale both share my unbreakable commitment to preserving our public lands, very big. And Steve, what you did with me recently on our environmental bill was incredible and incredible for Montana, and I appreciate it. Our national parks are priceless national monuments to the heroes of American history, and we'll always preserve them. In the Senate, Steve Daines was the driving force behind the Great American Outdoors Act, and he really was, too. He did a job, and incredible. The most significant investment in our parks since the administration of President Theodore Roosevelt. I actually said, Steve, couldn't we make it bigger than him? And I think he said, well, he also did the Grand Canyon. So I said, all right, let's just be satisfied with up to. But since President Theodore Roosevelt, and this was Steve's baby, he did an incredible job. As a member of the Montana State Land Board, Matt Rosendale, has expanded access to over 45,000 acres of public land for hunting and fishing and enjoyment of Montana families. Steve and Matt are also adamant defenders of our rights and freedoms guaranteed by the Constitution. They're both proudly endorsed by the NRA at the highest level, while their opponents have both received an F rating. In fact, I think Bullock got an F minus. I don't know what an F minus means, but an F minus is not too good. Rating from the NRA, and the NRA, that's your gold standard for this stuff. And when they give you an F and they give Steve the highest, both of them the highest rating. So with Steve Daines in the Senate and Matt Rosendale in Congress, your Second Amendment will be safe. And it is under siege, by the way. It really is. If they got in, they would totally dismantle it, get rid of it, dismantle it. The Democrats running against Steve and Matt are nothing more than puppets of Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck, and Joe Biden's radical left group of people that Joe has absolutely no control over. The Democrat opponents want to pack the Supreme Court with radical justices, and they want to trample all over free speech. They want to take your guns away, empower violent mobs. And you see what's happening in these Democrat-run states. They're all a disaster. Out of the top 25, I think 25 are Democrat-run in terms of violence. The Republicans are doing a great job. So I just want to tell you that I know you're busy, and I know I'm busy, and I have the honor of sitting in the Oval Office at the Resolute Desk, the very famous Resolute Desk. It's incredible. But I felt I had to call up and speak on behalf of these two gentlemen. I watched, by the way, Steve Bullock during the presidential run, which, by the way, he always said he doesn't want to run for the Senate. He wouldn't do a good job in the Senate. I don't want to be a senator. When he was running for president, I don't want to be. And then he got less than 1%. After working very hard, he got less than 1%. He never caught on. And then all of a sudden he wants to be a senator. One thing you're going to find when they run for president and they say they don't want to be a senator, it's never going to work out. But you have one of the best senators anywhere in this country. I use Steve all the time. He's one of the hardest working, one of the best. I'd even say the best, but I don't want to insult too many of my friends, but he's right there. He does a great job. And when he calls, I take his call and I do what he says because it's always good and it's always the right thing to do. So I just want to say, Steve Daines in the Senate, Matt Rosendale in Congress, they're fighting for you. They are going to save your Second Amendment and so many other things. I just want to thank them for the kind of spirit they show and for always being with me. They're warriors, and I really appreciate it. And we got to get Matt here, and we got to keep Steve here. And I just want to tell you, you are really special people. And also, Montana, I look forward to being out there with you. I appreciate this incredible show of love and support that you've given to me, and I give it back to you. That's the only thing I can say. I give it back to you. So whatever you can do, Steve and Matt, I'll see you in Washington. Montana, thank you very much. You take care of yourselves and have a great day. Goodbye.